This isn't going to be much of a stream at all. In fact, it's really not a stream at all. This is just the easiest way for me to do a quick, I gotta turn game sounds down, replay analysis for my buddy FizBen. It's easier than uploading to YouTube. I just stream it on Twitch and give him the Twitch link. So I guess feel free to, if you see some stuff that you want to talk about as well, throw it in the chat. I might talk a little bit about stuff that's in chat, but for the most part it'll just be extra feedback for FizBen. That's about it. With that in mind, let's start the replay. That is not the replay. That is my Spotify. That's the replay. Cool. So he's ZVT against Fook Moonrise. So we're just going to go into his vision. Yeah, and we'll follow his camera for now. We'll see kind of what he does. Right now, droning up to 14 out of 14. Okay, so this is going to be a... Let me just pause this. I gave him this build. This is a 14-14 suppressor build. I will say, when you do this build, just minor thing. Take this one, rally it right to gas, and I would suggest taking the far gas. Very, very small difference, but slightly harder to see. It's whatever. But yeah, gas could have already been down. But there it is. There's that. This one, I usually rally on this kind of build right behind the gas mineral line, kind of something like this, kind of like right here. Hides it a little bit, but not really all that much. But that's the pool. Yeah, pool timing's fine. Like, it's just slight efficiency things if you use these. But that's fine. I should be putting 3 on gas right away. There they are. And would be nice to drone stack a little bit here. We do... Yep, that goes to 15 out of 14. Now he's going to make an Overlord. So this is a pressure build designed to cancel the natural of the Terran. It's not designed to do really anything else. There is an all-in out of it. There's actually 2. But for the most part, it's just there to cancel it. So you'll see when this Overlord finishes, there should be 1 more drone popping up. Hopefully it goes here. Yep, there's that 1 drone. Now we want to keep an eye on gas. Like, the gas is actually a little late, but it shouldn't matter too much. So you should pull off at 100, get link speed, and then 6 drones. Sorry, 6 lings. Sorry. And what he should do with those lings, whether he is or not, I don't know. Hard to tell where these are going. Okay. So that's fine. I prefer going around the right side, but it's no big deal. This is a mistake here. This is a mistake. Queen's way too early, and 2 drones too early as well. I'm gonna back up a little bit. Now the good thing about this build is that's correct. Is its ability to actually play a macro game. You're actually just trying to do some early pressure and then move into a macro game with it. So after these 6 links pop, like I said, I prefer going around the right side, but going around the left's fine. Like, as long as you don't get caught by the Reaper. And one of the important things, I like this. We'll keep an eye on where this goes. I like the second Overlord going and checking, and it's on all the maps, to the left of the natural. Something over here for proxy racks. And then go to the 3rd. But the other thing, just to optimize this build, big thing we want to do after these 6 slings, the very next thing, we're on 16 out of 16, is expand. Expand before Queen. So we'll get there. Because you really, like, the biggest thing on this build, which makes it kind of bad, makes it so you just don't do it every game, is the lack of larva, actually. So getting the natural down before the Queen is actually really important with that. But that's fine. I mean, it's not fine. It's something you really should be doing. And he's going to replace that drone. So what you should do, the actual order of events, natural, 16th Queen drone on minerals, 16th drone on gas, and then Queen. That'll bring you to, what is it? Yeah, 22 out of 22. And at that point, you make an Overlord. You can extractor trick for your 2nd drone, and then you wait for your Overlord to finish. Once it finishes, you build the 3rd drone, rally it there, and it's actually that exact timing which is really nice. It's just a really nice check because you don't have to look at the game clock or anything. When you make, as soon as the Overlord finishes and you make the drone to send in gas, that is when you send your lings in. So, a little bit out of order, but that's not the end of the world. Yeah, he's still at 22 out of 22. There's the Overlord. The problem with...
Queen has emerged.
Yeah, you guys queen. The inject and then rally here. And the other thing, why this is kind of bad, well, actually he has plenty of minerals to do it. So yeah, this is probably fine. But you need to have the second queen in production. Like, it's super important. Honestly, one of the most important things of this build. And you can just queue it up because you always have enough minerals. So basically how it would work, of course this queen's early. Miner would be later. This might actually be more efficient, but that's fine. So what I'll do is I'll go for rally first drone here, make a second drone. As soon as it pops, build it, make the next drone, rally that to behind, spawning pool. Make another drone to 14, extractor trick to 15, Overlord at 15, drone as soon as it finishes, put 3 on gas, take 3 off gas at 100, ling speed, 6 lings. And then you will expand. Then you make drone to replace the one you expanded with, drone to put in gas at 20 out of 22, queen. Then you make an Overlord, extractor trick for the second, or I'll say 2 out of 3, drone on gas. And then as soon as the Overlord finishes, you make the third drone for gas. And by this point, you can already have had it re-rallied because you have your, as soon as you have your 16 out of 16 on minerals, just re-rally it. And then as soon as you make that drone, put it into gas, you send your lings in. And at that point, you could just grab your hatchery hotkey. As soon as you have 150, just queue up the second queen. It'll take a while before it comes out, but that's totally fine because you just cannot spend your money otherwise. So I'll say the first thing, the build's slightly wonky, like just getting this late is annoying, but honestly the earlier queen, like I don't think it's going to make too big of a difference, but make sure this is injecting right away. I can't actually see how much energy it has, unfortunately, but make sure it's injects as soon as it comes out. Make sure you're building the second queen, just have it queued up. Super important, because you need your queens ASAP. Now these should be heading in any time now. As soon as that Overlord pops, he's making, yep, 2 drones. Okay, yeah, that's fine. He's just not extractor tricking, but yeah. So this timing is like perfect on this. He should be able to jump on this worker.
Hey, your base is under attack, man.
And don't worry about anything at home. Like, he's always going to pull his Reaper back. Make sure the SCV dies. It's dead. Kill this. Perfect. Now, should go up the ramp. Yep, perfect. Oh, that's actually really sick. He's catching him with the liftoff too. But you'll just... It's like, game sounds are just still a little bit too loud for me. I have a hard time talking over them. Yeah, still you just want to damage this. Keep an eye out. As soon as the Hellions pop, you have to pull back. And off this, you should just be making as many... Oh yeah, still don't have an inject here. Yep, so just pull this back. You're not trying to go all in off this. That's fine. No, if you get that surround. Yeah, now push back up in, because until the Hellions pop. So, and at this point, we evaluate what we have. There's options here. But we really should just be pumping drones out as hard as we absolutely can. In this right here, I do usually keep on gas. I'm not sure it's the most efficient, because it allows for another build. You see this, like, this build, right? So, workers, we're actually up in workers against the Terran, which is, we need to be. But the big thing is, if we go to everyone view, there's his CC. It's half done. He doesn't have a third tech building. Like, double gas, so he probably wants to make a starport, but like he's hurting. Like he has the money for it, but it's just so annoying. It actually rattles your opponent pretty good. See, we have 2 bases on Larva. The only other thing here, I would suggest, grab one of these. Let's make a third. You're going to notice real quick this money is going to skyrocket because we have really good income for 2 bases for what we have. and we're going to be pretty far behind on the larva, especially with that missing that second queen. But that's fine. This roach warren, we'll get there actually. So this build from FizBen's concept, there's three kind of builds you can do off this, and it's exactly the wheel, right? Whatever wheel you can call it, the meta wheel. You have 1, which is econ, 2, which is aggression, or 3, which is tech. And what you do is based off what you see. Right here, this hasn't landed yet, so we think it's Terran's probably going for some sort of tech thing. If he saw a second barracks, right? Then you can, or actually, if the barracks doesn't lift off at all, then you know it's like a bio play. He's doing 2-on-1. You have 2 responses for that: aggression or econ. Now, with something like this, all he sees is 1 factory, floating barracks, so barracks isn't planning on doing anything here. We don't know if there's a second factory. We don't know if there is a starport, because if it's 2 factory reactor, this is where this build kind of gets hard countered. The cars build, the good old Hellion Cyclone all in, like, you actually can lose pretty easily in this build if you're not very careful. There is a tech response to that, which is going mutas. And if there is a starport, then you just kind of have to do the tech response. You can either do the tech response or the macro response. And it looks like FizBen's trying to do the aggressive response, and that's fine. It's a little sketchy because we don't know what the third production is, and we know it's not bio. So it's definitely a worse build, but it's still going to be okay. This right here is actually really early, though. The baseline I go for is about half saturation here, and the better one, the more important one, is that at 250 gas. At 250 gas, if you throw down your roach warren, I usually put it up here, but like wherever you put it's probably fine. But at 250 gas, and you just make a couple overlords, then you're in a position where you can actually make a shit ton of roaches as soon as your roach warren finishes. You're going to notice him, because of the lack of gas and the lack of the second queen and a little bit of larva issues, you're going to end up seeing that he's not going to be able to make many roaches, so this all-in's probably going to fail, but it could still be good. So simple suggestions I have so far: get that second queen ASAP, make sure we're injecting, take a third, like around this time's good. Like, you can even do it slightly earlier. You'll just find that, like, there's a period of time in your games, like right when this dies basically, and you go up the ramp, like, you just have all this money that you can't spend, and at that point I just like, okay, I'll make a third, and I barely ever saturate it. Like, especially if you're going this route with the aggressive roach follow-up, like, you're not ever going to saturate this, and that's fine. But we'll see what happens from here on out.
You're under attack. Siege up.
No, shut up. Nice job pulling that back. Big thing, leave 1 here. Leave 1 here. Because you want to see when a push-out happens, you want to see when he's trying to take his base. Yep, 3. So this is the right kind of thing if you're doing this. You have queens, just making overlords, saving all the larvae. That's good. Oh, there's 3. Oh, you build 1 on each. So right here, we pause the game. We have 225 gas. So that is 4, 8, 9 roaches. That's not enough for 9, but that's actually a decent amount of gas for roaches. Yeah, he did get the link speed. What he really wants to be doing is just cramming down that roach button. Drones are not what you want to be doing here. If you're going to go for that all-in, like, yeah, 9 drones, 8 drones. That's all you need. No more than that. And one thing I should have said earlier, if I'm doing this kind of thing, what I'll actually do is I'll, like, inject roach warren, get to 8, but then just pool up larva. Like, I know that my hatches aren't actually making larva itself, but I'm just waiting for the second inject to come off. So you have 2 injects plus the original 3 of larva to go off him. If we look right now, this is what we're talking about. He only has 4 larvae available. So 4 larvae only makes 4 roaches, which is going to really delay this push. And the lack of the third is going to delay the lings as well. So what he wants to do here is just be making as many roaches as he possibly... Oh, second one too. That's not good. Should be making as many roaches as he can as soon as this pops. And just rally them right here. You really want to have 8 to 12 roaches, something like that. It's a great number. And then after you do that, inject, and then just make as many lings as you can. See, it's up to 6 workers here. See, that's a problem, right? This kind of opening, where you're doing, it's a macro style opening. Well, you can play a macro game, but he's using all in office, which is fine. But you're really getting an edge in something, and then you have to make sure you utilize your edge in that. This is just general StarCraft 101 here, or even RTS 101. So what you're seeing him do, FizBen do, is he went ahead and got an advantage, base advantage, and he was even in workers, right? And then he decided to power workers, which is great. He's up 8 workers now, which is a good number. But he didn't actually go for the full advantage of macro because he never took a third base. Like, you really need to get the third base for the larva. And you see his money getting kind of out of control right now, and that's normal with this build. It happens because you're just so far behind on larva. And then you want to get a 4th base like fairly early too, and that's just for larva. You're not going to saturate that anytime soon. So he didn't do that. Instead, he got a roach warren instead of the expansion. But he doesn't really have larva to build roaches to go all in, so he's kind of like in between. And if this is a safety warren, like this could be a safety warren. I will say I hate safety warrens with this build. And the reason is because you're so low on larva that you actually have to like min-max. And like your best bet, if you see Hellions, which he does, is just to throw down a roach warren, no Evo, like this, you don't need this, and then just go all in off it. Build 8-9 roaches and push. Now he doesn't have an overlord here to check. I would love to see what the next tech structure is. We're gonna cheat and see it. We see there is a starport and a barracks coming down. It's stim, so this is gonna be a 2-on-1. The roach all-in works great against bio, so there's no problem if we did that decision. Also, just macroing up works the best against bio. And then the thing is, with the macro thing, right? The reason why I don't like this, I already stated, is mostly due to just larva inconsistencies, or inavailability rather. And like this costs a drone, so that's like a larva anyway, or this one does actually. So like it's not putting you in a great position. It's just kind of allowing your opponent to catch up. Yeah, you have to build some lings, right? You got a few of them here, but not a ton of them. You have to add a little bit to it to hold off. But the big thing you can do, because even if you have this third, because you're going to be low on larva, what you can do is queen, just pump queens. Make like 4 to 8 queens, because you have the money anyway, and that defends against the Hellions. Also defends or helps defend against like banshees or anything else in that kind of tech route. In this position, we don't know it's bio, so that's kind of unfortunate. But that's fine. Even playing out of this, all we know is there's this. So it's going to be either Hellion Banshee, Hellion Raven, or Hellion into bio. So in all situations, it could be a Hellbat all-in as well. Like, the Hellbat all-in will absolutely die if you don't have a Roach Warren. That's fair. But in all the other situations, like, this isn't needed, just the queens are all you really need to defend. And then this is, unless you're going all in, it's meh. Sometimes with this build, right, you really feel like you have to spend your gas, so you kind of get evolution chambers. I was getting like double upgrades super quickly. Really the better kind of avenue of approach if you're not going to go do the roach all in. Like, I like to keep on until I have like 150 gas, and then I make my decision. Okay, am I going to wait another 100, throw down this, like just hold up larva, or am I going to just macro? If I decide to macro, these come off. Fuck them, don't need them. Just because, like, we'll have 3 bases that aren't saturated. I can just use the extra money for queens anyway. I can get an earlier 4th, and then I'll throw back on here. Like, usually, like, 30 seconds to a minute later. Just because you wouldn't actually believe how much more mineral income it gives you. And allows you to just pump those drones quicker. Otherwise, what you'll end up seeing here is you have a lot of gas, so now you're like thinking, okay, I probably should get upgrades. The only thing good upgrades are good against is bio, which luckily he's going. We don't know that. But then you could just go double if you really want to against bio. Anything else you can't. Of course, I understand the one anyway. Probably just going to get Carapace because we don't know if we want melee or range. Yeah. So the gas is just kind of an interesting thing, right? And I'm not saying it's interesting in this situation. It's just this build in general. It's kind of like, yeah. The other thing you can keep on gas for is get an early lair, get a second gas, fill those up, and then you're like just trying to power drones here and defend with queens, and then grab 2 more, and just go like quick. What do you call it? Mutas. And it's super quick mutas because it's 14-14, and it's second 100 gas after 14. So it's insanely quick mutas. And then you can just jump over here. Like if he's going 2 factory, like that's the only viable defense, I think. Other than, it's the only good defense anyway. You can definitely like leave only like 4 drones here. You still have your 3rd, but there's no drones there, and you're just pumping out like. Yeah, you actually have to get a roach one at that point. Roaches and queens off terrible drone count. And even if you defend it, like you're actually behind because he has expand by then. Anyway, back to where we're at. In this particular game, there's no 3rd base. Queens were late. Roach horn was built, and we built a few safety roaches, but didn't go all in. It hurts our econ, but we're still in a position where we're kind of up workers. We're up 10 supply. Of course, some of that's roaches. Like, we just -6. We're up 4 supply. Because those roaches just aren't going to do anything. They're dead supply. Yeah. I just don't like this position just because there's a lack of 3rd base. It's really easy for Terran to get this, mule, and then just slingshot ahead. We'll continue to see what's going on. I don't know where the second overlord... Oh, second overlord's still here. I like taking this one later. That second overlord like really needs to be here eventually, and so we can check for whether it's bio or mech. This lair is super quick. I'm gonna say big fat no to this. There's that. Because if you're gonna go mutas, we did that already. Oh man, and that's super quick too. So we do have the roaches to kind of push this back. The queens would have been plenty though, you can imagine that. This is a little late, but it is coming up, which is good. And yeah, like these extra gases that we're taking, we're going to be able to fill them because we're saturated here. But I'd actually rather just be oversaturated and transfer them instantly because like our mineral income is really what matters in this game. In every game. But we won't be able to take these right away. Now, of course, this is also super late because we actually should already be mining on this if we're going this kind of route. And a couple more queens would be plenty. Like, you have the creep, which is great. So you just need to, like, hold this position, like right here. And you can just kind of boop, 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 and just go back and forth. Now, spreading creep this way is also really important. Overlords around here are also really important. Oh, okay, this is cool. So we use those lings to come back in. Okay, yeah, we will get this. Yep, so that's nice. Totally cool. Like, unfortunately, that one to the other side. Like, I thought that was a good decision going for that. But yeah, no, that's pretty nice. Grand scheme of things, does it do much? No, but it's nice. Also, like having an Overlord on top of this. I love having one here. Like, it's super powerful. I'm okay with this one because coming through here is important. But over here, this is like the most powerful one because they take this position and they're like, and then they can kind of jump from here to here, and you don't know which one they're gonna go to, and it's actually longer for you to like. That's about the same, but still, it's just annoying to react without knowing. At this point, we'll take another game stance. Moonrise has now jumped ahead in supply. We're way up in workers, which is nice. We just had a bunch pop here. 4th and 5th base should be up now. And you'll notice with this build, you're going to have a bunch of extra money because you're low on larva. Just fucking build bases, man. 4th, yeah, honestly, if I had 12 into the bank, I'd say 4th, 5th, macro hatch right about here. Somewhere around here anyway. Wherever you can build it. Maybe, even if it's just here, whatever. This like adds an unnecessarily choke point, but it's fine. Here might be the, I don't know. You just need more bases because it's not about money, it's about just production. And the reason why it's okay to do that, like say even macro hatch base, is because if you just go macro hatch base, all of a sudden this gets pushed in, this dies, now we're in trouble. Macro hatch base, this gets pushed in, dies. Okay, cool. I'll take this one when I know it's gonna die, and I have plenty of production. Like, I'm still fine. We're still 3 base versus 2 base as far as we know. Yeah, we know they're not there. We know they're not here. If you have that Overlord that was early here, then it can kind of swing over here. As long as there's no Viking, you can check this. This, I actually like this position here, and then move up here later in the game. Cool. We got Carapace. And we're going range this game. So now, building a shit ton of roaches because we saw Hellions, but okay, so yeah, we'll see this right away. Unfortunately, just seeing Hellions doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be mech. A lot of players go Hellions into bio. So, not knowing whether it's bio or mech at this point in the game, like, that's brutal, 7 minutes in. Otherwise, and I don't know, FizBen might just play Roach Hydra anyway. I couldn't give you much feedback on that. But otherwise, if I was playing this game and I know it's bio, now I'm talking, I have +1/+1 here instead of just, well, it still is +1/+1. Bailing Nest is researching speed, and we have Aspire, probably almost done at this point if it's not already done. I like Corruptors, but Mutas are fine. You can just build the Hydralist Den anyway. I'm missing a drone here, by the way. It's probably coming. If you want to play Lingbane Hydra, that's fine too. Like, any of that, it's just Lingbane tech. So let's see. See what this does. This is full of Marines. And we get a Liberator coming around. One thing, okay, we do have the Spore Crawlers, which is great. Especially if you don't see the 3rd tech structure. Just assume there's going to be, I mean, honestly, not even a Liberator. Just assume, like, Cloak Banshees or something. Because this kind of build where you kill this thing early just pisses people off. Oh, and I should, yeah, as soon as we saw this, that's a 3rd base. Even though it's not here or here. I totally forgot about that when I was talking earlier. It's still a 3rd base, right? So we definitely need a 4th by now. And honestly, being 2 or 3 bases up in this kind of style, since you're not necessarily saturating them right away, it's totally fine. And then would have actually a little bit better saturation. See, we're at really close on workers now, and mules kind of catch up. Because this didn't get completely saturated, and we don't have additional bases. Ooh, this run by might hurt as well. I don't know where all the roaches are. There's one there, that's fine. Oh, they're all popping out now. Okay, so we should be fine if he sees this. Okay. So we push that away nicely. Good pull there. Those came back cool. Yeah, that was nice. That was a good defense. Perfect. And imagine that same defense 4th, 5th base. Because we'll stop and just take an account for the game. He's still on 2. Okay, he's lifting up and flying now. I think FizBen probably knows its bio at this point. That's so many Hellions, man. What is this? Oh, it's 4. Okay, maybe not as many as I thought there was. Yeah. We have the Terran machine running, that's for sure. Hey, they're both missing a guy, I guess. Woohoo, funny. But the Terran machine's running. You're gonna see, well, yeah, that money right there is crazy. It's not even good for the Terran, but it's really bad for FizBen. And that's just a focus on taking extra bases earlier. Because honestly, one drone, take a base, like even if it dies, like who gives a shit, right? If you have the money, who gives a shit? It just allows you to build more stuff, and that's what you need because you don't have the larva. And that's not even a thing because you're not injecting well. It's just it happens. Just go ahead and take it. Otherwise, I think we're in an okay spot. Econ, we're a little behind. These roaches are a little bit weird. They're just not gonna fight that well, probably. Well, actually no, because he might just be playing Roach Hydra anyway. What I like to do if I make safety roaches in this matchup, I'll only make like this many anyway, and then just turn them into Ravagers because they just fight a lot better. You can do some fancy things with them before the Corruptors come out, and usually you have a bunch of extra gas. Okay, back to FizBen cam.
Mineral field depleter.
Oh no, I get another thing. Again, this Overlord here, you know when this is taken. Something here, you know when you're going to get pushed. He just, like, FizBen's playing really blind right here. I like trying to get the creep spread out. That's very important. And it's not even bad creep spread, especially for his level, but, like...
Evolution complete.
Oh, there goes one. Will that finish? Ooh, barely. Ooh, this needs to be attacking with that. Of course, that's just what it is. This is good. He won't lose a single roach. Cool. So, that, I mean, good defense. Like, this spread's good. And if they come down the middle, like, yeah, you're a little in trouble, but you can kind of collapse this. And them coming down the middle, that queen just got put... Oh, no, it's falling. I thought it just got pushed all the way over there. That was hilarious. Dude, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, macro hatch, like when you have this much money, just fucking do it, man. Tunneling claws, yeah, you're actually is trying to stay on roach tech. Roaches get really bad in the late game. Hydras would be much better. Is going to hive, or I'm assuming so. I can transfer these workers. Nowhere actually because these bases are really late. We know he doesn't have this third. We don't know whether he has this one or not. We don't know if he's going this way. A lot of times Terrans on this map will actually expand this way.
Your forces are taking damage.
Cool, nice defense. This is a burrowed roach run by. They look weird, man. That looks really weird. Is this skin? Yeah. This probably won't do much. Bird roaches, like in ZVZ, really cute. ZVT, they just a lot of times don't work because there's usually like some missile turrets and stuff. Okay, I like how he checked. So he knows that's open. Like that was really cool. Yeah, this might get some stuff done actually. Okay, these will get blasted right away. Oh my god, he got in. What the hell is there? Ah, this guy. Okay. Yeah, these will die like instantly. These will do a little bit, but not a ton. Like it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like if you have extra roaches and you need to throw them away, yeah, sure. Go for it, man. Oh, nice drop defense. That's awesome. Unfortunately, like at this point, if we do a game check, FizBen's behind in supply, which is bad against Terran anyway, but especially when you have roach supply. This unit comp isn't very good. It's just pure Roach Hydra right now. Like, there's no lurkers, there's no drops, there's no hive on the way, there's no ravagers, there's no infestors. If you're gonna go Roach Hydra, especially against Terran, like, you need something with it. Usually Vipers. Viper, say you want to push, you never want to push through there. Say you're coming around here, you can do this, tanks position, pull 2 tanks. Well, here maybe Blinding Cloud here, you pull this tank, kill that one. These ones can't shoot, stuff like that. Or you have drops, so you can just kind of say come up here, push here a little bit, get the whole army to come down here, pull back, load up all your drops, drop here, take out some production. Lurkers next to here. Lurkers really only good with drops, otherwise don't make them versus Terran, I don't think. Infestors, like against a bunch of bio. I don't know where even all the bio is. That's all in the main. Just kind of fungal, chain fungal into biles, which is kind of cool. But just standard Roach Hydra, I don't think it's powerful enough. These are all burrowed, which probably is going to be a downfall at some point. If you have burrowed roaches and you don't realize you have burrowed roaches, a lot of times you just have supply that can't attack. Oh, actually, he's going to go for the run by right now with it. That's unfortunate, losing all that creep. No, he didn't kill that one, so that's fortunate. Hydra's coming. Okay. I'd like to see him push off from this. Oh, there's a little line there. That's cute. Left up. Yep. See, that's adorable, right? Oh, crap. Base race. Unfortunately, like if you go to the base that you're also attacking, like you're bringing the army here anyway. Or if you went there, like then the army's coming this way and you have a little better chance attacking. I think the Terran should have base raced here, but it's good for him that he didn't. And yeah, this just is not enough Hydras. The tanks are really out of position, but there's just so much bio and tanks. And now FizBen's like really far behind. Making links here. I don't know, man. Ravagers just could spend any money however we can. Yeah, we're at 6k. Like, in this game, if it wasn't about making stuff, it was about just getting the ability to make stuff, FizBen wins. Because, like, you look at those two armies that just fought, and if you add 6k, 2k to it, then FizBen wins easy, I think. But unfortunately doesn't. And there's no additional bases. At this point, like, all these bases should be taking. Maybe not this one. Then you just, like, say, okay, those are going. I'm just going to transfer them here to this base. 60 workers at this point is not the best either. Probably should be biling this instead, but that's fine. Like, at this point, the game's over. That's funny. It's all early game stuff, right? It has nothing to do with anything that's happened lately. In this game, it's all early decision making and just kind of mechanical stuff. Biggest thing, I'm not even going to say anything about the Queen before Hatch. I don't know which one's actually better. I know I go Hatch before Queen, but it could actually work out that the Queen's more efficient. I don't know. But Larva is super important. So the 3 like key early game things, and then there's 1 key mid game thing, and then I'm going to say there's a bonus thing. But the 3 early game things, make sure you're hitting the injects right away as soon as it pops. Make sure the second Queen is already queued up to build, so you don't even have to think about building it. It's already just going to build itself. And then make sure you get this 3rd base down ASAP. Those 3 things change. You go from being in a position of advantage when this got canceled and the Terran couldn't really do much, to a dominating position because not only did you cancel this, but now you have 3 saturated bases before his third CC's even started building. That's the biggest thing. That's the 3 early game things. The 1 mid game thing, I say just expand more. Look at your money. If it's over, okay, just build bases. Fuck it. Unless you're like saving for a tech switch, just build bases. I mean, look at this. There is almost 10,000 resources here. Like if you add that to any army, let's just do some math here, right? Let me see if I can get a calculator out. You can't see that on stream. Well, I have a calculator anyway. Just assume it's there. Banelings, right? They cost 25 minerals to make, the Ling. Then 25 minerals, 25 gas for the Bane. Say 2,500 gas divided by 25 gas apiece equals 100 Banelings. And then 75 minerals. Oh yes, that's, or no, it'd be 50 minerals times 100 is, of course, 5,000. So you could be at a position here, right, where you have, with this bank, you have an additional 100 Banelings, and what was that? Another 100, yeah, 25 each time, or yeah, another 100 there. So you could have literally 100 Lings and 100 Banelings. Holy crap, man. Now, assuming the upgrades went that way instead of into that stuff, like that's just super scary army. Back it up to when the fight happened. Imagine, say cut that in half. There's 50 Lings and 50 Banelings. That's way too many Banelings, but like there's no way that bio does anything, right? If you have 50 Banelings, like 100 Banelings just seems like a ridiculous number, but we legitimately can afford it. And you take that army, you just throw away all the roaches. Like just have those hydras with 100 Banelings and 100 more Lings. Yeah, the Lings and the hydras just shred the tanks. Then the Banes just chase the bio to wherever they run to, and the rest of the army, after the tanks are dead, just destroys their base. But in order to do that, you have to expand more in the mid game. That way you have the larva available to do it. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be an expand so that you're gonna drum. Just put down macro hatches. It's a macro hatch whether it's placed here, whether it's placed here, or whether it's placed here. If it's not saturated, it's a macro hatch, and that's fine. When you do take these bases, you put your macro hatches there. Then when you lose a base, you just control click all the drones, or double click it, whatever your mechanic is, and then right click on the mineral patches over here. Cool. And you just lost a little bit of larva. And if you have like a ton of bases, it's not a problem. I said I was gonna have one bonus. I'll actually have two. First off, Infestation Pit went down really early. Well, not really early, but it went down a long time ago, right? No hive. If that happens, then I'm assuming the plan is Ultralisks. Like you could actually have Ultralisks by the time this, actually probably be by the time this fight happened. I don't know if it changes the fight. I think too many other things went wrong, but like it would have been nice to have. The other bonus thing, and this is not as important as the early game. Like the early game, just getting your macro down, being able to build things, and even the mid game of expanding is more important than anything else, I'll say. But this bonus of just having the Overlord here, and like at 315 to 330, honestly, just right click here, hold shift, right click back. And if you don't have the APM or the vision to check it as it goes in, that's fine. What you'll do is then later like take your camera and just be like, oh, barracks. What actually you'd see is the second barrack, one barracks, two barracks. Who cares anything else? There's more than one barracks, it's bio. And then we know how to play off that. We know we don't really want roaches. Either Ling, Bane, Hydra, or just a few roaches and get to Hydra, and then get to Hive Tech ASAP. That kind of stuff. Now, if you run in, you see multiple factories and no only one barracks, then you say, okay, yeah, roaches are good, then fast tech to like Swarm Hosts and Broodlords and Vipers. Or if you see multiple starports, your opponent's bad. Anyway, FizBen, I hope this helps. Like, I know you haven't seen it yet, but I'll definitely be sending this to you. I hope it was helpful. I hope this was more helpful than me just kind of writing down notes. I know it's long. I totally understand that and apologize for that. But that's my thing. I don't know what this is either. It's kind of weird. Put this here. Or here if you're gonna take this space. Anyway, take care, buddy. Good luck in the future. You executed the beginning of the build. You got the cancel. You were up in the game. But just make sure the macro happens. Get your third base. Even if you do still make this and you defend the same way you do, like at plat, that's fine. At low diamond, that's fine. It's just when you get higher level, you're going to notice that like all the larvas is really important. And even though roaches are more efficient than lings, the income and everything else will turn out that you just rather have more mineral drones and gas drones, and you'll be able to get to a better mid game without it. I wonder what this is. 7538 bailing nest. Let me back up. I'm kind of curious. Fuck, I'm good. Yeah. Cool. Oh, yeah, that's the rest of the army. Yeah, macro. I've said it a million times. Take more bases. Check on display. Even if you lose that Overlord, like, knowing whether you're playing bio or mech is really important. Especially if it affects how you do play. But that's all I got. Thanks again, buddy. Feel free to play a bunch more games and send me in something else if you want to. I think this hopefully will help.